Hi all my Ali Pallies, and thank you for joining me today. Now this video is actually for me, not going to be a chatty one. It's not going to take too long because I've got so many things to bring to you, so many videos. So I thought, I'm sure that you're all desperate to see the new Charlotte Tilbury items. So I'm going to be showing you the new highlighter and the new matte quad coming up now. But it's actually going to be quite a short one so that you'll just see the swatches and then you'll see a brief how-to look, because a lot of you said that you find that really helpful, and a few suggestions at the end about what I think would go really well with the matte palette. So I hope you enjoy this, and let's get going. Okay, before I do these swatches, let me just show you a picture of the palette. So as you can see, the palette is a 6-pan palette, a mini palette. It's the same size exactly as the Charlotte Darling palette, but all the eyeshadows are matte. Now, I've been resisting telling you the name of this palette, and I'm not going to. And the reason being is because if I say this word on YouTube, I get screened out of being able to put adverts on, because YouTube's computer thinks, because they think it's actually associated with another type of video. So I'm going to call it the Super Dudes palette, and it rhymes with dudes, but it's not dudes. It's what Kim Kardashian West lipstick is, and other lipsticks like what's the other one? A pale lipstick that looks skin coloured and rhymes with dude. A dude lipstick. So it's called the Super Dudes palette. And they're all matte shadows. And there's kind of some warm shades, and there's also some cooler shades. And I really, really love this palette. And I think that this would be really good if you've got hooded lids, especially, because mattes are really helpful when you've got hooded lids. Now the palette, I should say, is £45. It comes in the similar packaging to the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise and the new palette of Pops, with this kind of gold glitzy front to it, which you'll have just seen. And it's also got the little colour code on the side of the packet to show you the colours in the packet, which I think is super helpful if you're somebody that keeps the boxes. Okay, so let's have a look at the swatches on my arm first. Okay, so to be honest, the swatches on my arm look, as you've probably seen, a bit underwhelming. But I always think that matte eyeshadows don't swatch that brilliantly on the arm. They're a little bit like cheek to chic blushes. They never seem to swatch very well. And actually, it's going to be how it looks on the eye. I just think there's so much glow around, so much glitz and shimmer and glitter and everything. There's something nice about having a really good matte palette, and this is really good. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the step-by-step guide to this palette, and then I shall do a little bit of a conclusion. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that quick look. Now, this I think is a really good palette. If you've got brown eyes and you use the suggested eyeliner that I used, which is Marlene Midnight, on to line your eyes, and then use the eye cheat in the lower waterline. It's a Tilbury trick which I picked up when she did how to accentuate brown eyes, and she used the Sophisticate palette, and this palette is very like the Sophisticate palette, but there's just more variety. There's some warm shades and there's some cooler shades, and I just think it's a great little palette to have in your handbag. I'm going to have it alongside my Charlotte Darling palette. I think the two would work really well together, really handy size, and I think if I was going away I'd probably pop Charlotte Darling and the Super Dude palette in my bag to take it away with me, because I think those two together will give you so many looks and just work for anything. I think it's really good as well if you want to go for a bold lip or a bold red lip or anything like that, because they're quite neutral shades, but they look really flattering on, so they're not going to overtake the lips in any way. So if you have often thought, oh, it's too much when I put a red lipstick on, or a dark kind of plummy autumn lipstick, and you just feel it's too much with the eye makeup, then this would be a really good one to try. And mattes are coming back, so I'm really excited about this. I was excited more about that than the highlighter. Now the highlighter you've seen, the highlighter is really beautiful. I can't say that I see a massive difference to the one that she brought out last year, apart from the fact that there's a lot more product in it, and of course you can use the palette afterwards to refill with one of the airbrush flawless bronzers. So it is pretty, but I don't see an awful lot of difference once it's on the skin with last year's Magic Star highlighter. There might be a slightly different tone to it, but once it's on my skin, I really couldn't tell you. I'm sure no one could tell you which one I was wearing. So if you've got the Magic Star highlighter, I'm not sure that you need this one, but you are getting more product in this one, and you of course are getting the lovely palette. So it's just like the bronzer palette, but it's in silver instead of gold. I'll put a picture of that here. All my products are downstairs at the moment because I'm sitting resting my foot upstairs. Okay, so in the new highlighter you are getting 11 grams of product, and it's £39. So I think that's really good value. I can't see me running out of highlighter anytime soon. Magic Star highlighter I've used pretty much consistently throughout the year, and that wasn't as big as this, and I've still not run out of that. So I think you will be very happy with that, or it makes a really good Christmas present as well. Now, I didn't get any of the new lip products. I'll just remind myself of what they were called. Okay, so Charlotte's bought out 3 lip products called Jewel Lips, and there is Blush Gold, Champagne Diamonds, and Opal Magic, I think it is. I just thought they were very sheer, and I thought they were going to end up looking quite similar to the Jewel Lips that I already have. And they were nice, they were pretty, but I really didn't feel like I needed any more of those. And then I've got to show you the brush kit that I got. So I will do a little trip downstairs and show you all these products in person at the end of this video. Okay, but other than that, that is today's video. Please do ask me any questions if you have them. I would say the most similar, if you were looking to look at similarities between this palette, the matte palette, and any previous ones, I would say it's kind of a combination of the Sophisticate palette and the other palette, which is called Desert Haze. My memory is getting so bad. Desert Haze. Because Desert Haze is a bit more warmer and Sophisticate is a bit cooler, but both of them are matte palettes. So it's kind of a combination of the two, but in a miniature palette so that you've got kind of a bit of both in them. And I think it's a great palette to have. And even if you want to add some shimmer, you can always use that palette and then put some highlighter on your mobile lid if you really like to have a little bit of shimmer on your mobile lid, or you're not one for having an all matte eyeshadow. I think it looks really, really good. If you have got blue eyes, I think brown goes really well because brown is the opposite to blue. And if you've got brown eyes and you put on the Marlene Midnight eyeliner and the eye cheat, it really does make your eyes pop. Now, I did tell you this was going to be a short video and it's ended up being longer than I thought because I just love talking to you guys and I just hope that you love listening to me. All right, I shall get the other products to show you and then I shall finish this video. Okay, so sorry about the bitty nature of this video, but I'm now downstairs so I can show you some of these new products. So this is the Super Dudes Easy Eye Palette. Rhymes with dudes anyway. And as you can see, it looks very like the Charlotte Darling palette. And I'm going to put up some pictures here that I took of this next to the Sophisticate palette and the Desert Haze palette. So these are the three warms that are similar to, but not the same as Desert Haze. And these are the three cools, which are similar to, but not the same as Sophisticate. And of course, neither Desert Haze or Sophisticate has got a black in it. But it's really good to have a really good matte black in an eyeshadow palette. And I definitely intend to be carrying this around with Charlotte Darling and mixing the two together. I think that this will be so versatile and it's definitely a really good everyday palette. And as you can see, it's coming in the similar packaging to, if I show you the box of the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise, similar packaging. So there's a bit of a theme going on. Okay, and talking of the theme of packaging, we have the Glow highlighter, which is here. And I thought it might also be helpful to show you this against last year's Magic Star highlighter. So let's swatch them together, shall we? And I'll put a photo in between. So as you can see, it's massive and pretty, and it's coming in the silver packaging this time. Okay, now here is last year's Magic Star highlighter, and this, I just wanted to check how many grams. Actually, that's very interesting because this is 11 grams and this is 10 grams. So the packaging makes it look a lot bigger, but it's actually, 11.5 grams it says on the back. On the website, it said 11, I think. So it's only 1.5 grams more product, but it looks like there's so much more. So that's really interesting that the packaging makes it look more because it's obviously, it's pressed down a lot thinner than this one. So this was last year's Magic Star. And let me open the other one again. I've shut it. That was clever of me. Okay, so this one is, Magic Star is a bit warmer. And probably better if you've got darker skin, sort of medium tan like mine. And this one's probably better if you've got fairer skin. Now let's see what they look like swatched together. And I will put a photograph of this as well. So let's do, oh, that's very creamy when you swatch it. I haven't swatched it with my fingers, and yet when I did that, look what it did to the top. It's actually very, very creamy. Okay, look, let me just swatch it on my finger because I think highlighters are better when you just swatch them on the end of your finger like that. And then this is last year's Magic highlighter. So, okay. So the Magic Star highlighter's got more yellow in it. This is more oyster, champagne kind of colour. So I think if you're fairer skinned, you're going to prefer this year's to last year's. And I think that's probably why I like my Magic Star highlighter. But I'm very interested that this is actually only 1.5 grams less than this great big compact. Very interesting indeed. Okay, I'm going to put a swatch picture. I'll swatch these on my arm. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to take a picture of that close up because I think that's better. It's easier to see the difference. And then after that, you're going to see the picture of the Super Dudes Easy Eye palette next to Sophisticate and Desert Haze. Okay. And finally, for my very short video, sorry guys, I did intend to make it short. Anyway, finally for my video, saving the best till last, this year's new brush set. So it's velvet, it's green velvet, and it comes with the same sort of design as everything else. And I didn't bother with last year's brush set because it wasn't actually a case like this. It was this is like a clutch purse. Last year's was like a little pouch, so I didn't bother with last year's. But I've got the 2 other editions of this, okay, which I'll show you. But let me just open this first. Oh, and it's got a lovely sort of rose pink satin. And you've got your 4 brushes, so you've got the same ones that come in each year. So this is the blush brush, then you've got a blending brush, you've got a smudge brush, and you've got this little brush here, which you can use as a liner or whatever you want really. You can use it as liner or on your lips. And they're so handy to have, and I've used mine so much. I probably would keep this for best, or to take maybe to a special event. Because it's velvet, I suspect that it's going to get quite grubby with makeup. So I don't think it's as practical as perhaps previous years, but it's very pretty. Let me show you the first one. Now this has been well used, so it's a little bit worn, but I love this one. This was my favourite because it was burgundy, but as you see, it's got a bit worn over time, so it's sort of got a very sort of worn, but not, still looks lovely look to it. And I love this because it had the burgundy satin inside, and it had rose gold. So as you can see, this is well used. I've got my brushes in here. I've got a lip liner. I've got my Superstar lips, one of my favourite Superstar lips. I've always got a little sample of mascara, and I wish they would bring back these old style of samples. Let me just show you this. Oh, this is my heated eyelash curler, by the way, here, which fits in beautifully. But I wish they would bring back these samples. I think actually these ones I've got to throw out. Probably, yeah. But I wish they'd bring out these samples again, because they were so handy to put in this little clutch. So I could basically put my mascara, I could put a sample of foundation in there, a sample of magic cream, and off I went. These new pouches don't they're not like that, and you can't really fit them in. So I've still got a few left, but it makes it really handy. So you can really, you know, they're really good for overnight or just going away. You can fit your brushes in, you can fit a few samples and shut it up, and you've got all your utensils. And this one was last year's one. Was it last? No, the year before last. And my dad bought me this. He treated me to this. Thank you, Dad. Now, I've used this a little bit, but again, I kept this one for best. I didn't like the brown satin as much. I love them all. This one is probably the most practical because although it looks sparkly, it's actually white clean. So that's probably the most practical in terms of it being heavy duty and lasting the longest. This one I think was the most akin to the Charlotte kind of burgundy rose gold vibe, and was my favourite to begin with, although it's worn a bit over time. This is pretty but not practical, so this one will be for best. But I've used them and I love them, and I'm so glad that she brought back that variety rather than the pouch variety. Although last year I was tempted because she did put in a brush that was exclusive to that particular pouch that nobody had before, but it wasn't enough really to tempt me. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed this. Any questions, do let me know. I did fully intend this to be a short video, but there you go. And I've done it in little sections throughout the day because I just didn't know which video I was going to put out to you. And apologies for the ironing board in the background. Not my fault. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to be doing the cohorted box opening. I had a little sneaky peek because I was trying to decide which video to do first, and I think you're going to love it. I'm certainly very excited by it. And so I'll do that, and of course I've got my Ask Ali part 2, and very shortly I'm also going to be doing the Look Fantastic advent calendar when it arrives. So there's lots to tune into, so please keep tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done already, and leave me your comments. I love getting your comments, and I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye bye. Love you all. Mwah.